Thanks for joining us again. So Matthew, while I absolutely highly encourage anyone to have an acupuncturist at their disposal, whether they go to them regularly or for something chronic, we discussed prior to filming here that if you've got a cold, you've got something going on with your organs, you have a chronic disease, you're better off to go use the needles. Find yourself an acupuncturist who can work with those deep systems. On the other hand, you may have something simple that you're not going to go to the doctor for. Maybe you're not going to see your acupuncturist this week. Could be a simple sprain, could be a tension headache. There are a number of things that having a piezoelectric device at home, which you can pick up, just check out, you can look at different websites that sell these. This is simply just a small device that when you click it, it would put out a slight static electricity charge, right?
Yes.
I always tell people if you think it's uncomfortable to use it on you, which it's not, you got to be the other end when you're the one who's pulling that charge through the body. I think it hurts you more than it will hurt me. But very, very powerful, not actually all that painful. So I've asked Matthew to just show us an example. I'm going to use myself as an example. I happened to run, I was opening a gate the other day, ran a heavy weight across my toe, sprained my toe. So now, while the bruising is gone, I have a slight amount of pain that's still left in that little toe. So we're going to use the theories that he taught us in the earlier videos, and he's going to explain what area of the body he would use and where he might use this device in order to relieve that tension in the toe.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
So again, acupuncture can be used directly on the pain area so that we can increase the inflammatory response from the body, which means we are getting more blood by giving area a little more damage and then get more job done. But when you have pain on certain areas and we put more needles there to increase the blood circulation, it can really be painful, and you may have increased pain for a while until it's all settled down. It's like just to get rid of some terrorist in certain area, you are getting the entire United States, Marine Corps. Then it'll be very crowded and then too hectic until they are all sorted out, right? Of course they will get the job done, but we don't want that if there's other way to do it. And yes, there is other way using your body's own relationship, using other body, stimulate that area to talk to your brain about that current issue. If it works, that's better way to do it, right? So previous video I explained how body is generally related to each other, but to review that again, basic image we are using is this hands becomes your head, and this is your neck, and this is your upper back and chest areas, and then mid back, belly button, and this is your genital areas. And this is covering entire torso really well. Another image we are using is this is head, and then now reversing, so this is genital. So from here to here, it covers torso. Any type of a torso pain can be treated from here to here. The same way from your foot to your knee. That area can cover the torso. If it is in your extremities, then they can be helped each other. So they can be used each other. These hands will cover your feet, and your wrist will cover the ankle. Your forearm will cover lower leg, and your elbow will cover your knee areas. And then another image which can be used is same shape can cover each other, so hands for hands, of course opposite side, and wrist for wrist, and elbow for elbow, shoulder for shoulder. Same thing, knees for knee and ankle for ankle. But with my experience, upper limbs affecting lower limbs better.
Okay, because it's more
yeah,
distal.
Upper limbs, yeah, affecting the other side of upper limbs. Like you mentioned, body lies distal.
Distal.
So one old Chinese book say, if you have any pain, try to find the further away point which can affect that area. It will be most effective.
Alright.
So then from your feet or your toe, which one's most away? That will be your finger. Yeah, they are the by far.
Yeah, 'cause it's
all
left.
the way. Yeah, all the way the distal. So to treat your toe pain, especially your left side, I will start with your right side finger.
Okay.
Yeah, toes and fingers, they look very alike.
Mm-hmm.
And similar structure, the anatomical similarity, they work great. So if it's it looks like third toe and fourth toe.
Actually, that's where the bruising
Yeah.
has dissipated to,
Uh-huh.
but it was predominantly small toe.
Small toe. Then I'll start stimulating the pinky.
The pinky. Okay.
Yeah, the
Makes sense.
fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Then this to stimulate this, if just using image wise, if it's the whole thing is hurt, you can just put all the needle here, or you're just using the stimulator and then have it grounded somewhere along the line, along the vessel, just ground, and then you just put your finger in that area and then moving it along to stimulate entire areas. So spot for spot, area for area,
yes.
you're covering that area with your fingers.
So what I'm feeling, I feel a slight little charge here, but interesting, just like in closing a loop, as Matthew's moving his finger along here, I can feel that charge. So I don't feel it in between, but I feel it pulled from this area to stimulate. So this is really just an input point, and this is what's really being stimulated. There's more sensation in the finger than up here.
Right. If I just not touching you and just click,
Yep, I feel
then
nothing.
it
Little-
it doesn't complete the circuit.
Mhm.
So I have to complete with my finger, and where my finger lays, that's where we are stimulating the most.
Mhm.
And so for again toe, then we treat the finger.
Yeah.
Then they will eventually talk to your midbrain and then saying, okay, I'm stimulated, and then maybe you also need to work on your toes.
Yes.
Yeah. And how does it do that? I don't know.
You know what's nice about
Yeah.
this though? It's so fast,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So if that didn't immediately resolve it,
Mhm.
you can go to another area that's a
Yeah.
representational system.
Yeah.
So no harm,
Mhm.
only beneficial.
Yeah.
It's still communicating to the
Mhm.
body, and I can
Mhm.
play because it's quick. I don't have to wait 20 or 30 minutes after the acupuncture.
Yes.
What I appreciated in seeing Michael
Mhm.
as a practitioner, or Matthew as a practitioner, is that you would use the needles, I would feel a significant change, and then you'd look to see if it was all gone, and if I
Mhm.
had a little muscle tension or anything
Mhm.
left, you use this to tight.
Right.
It was almost like polishing off
Yeah,
the
yeah,
effect.
yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah. So let's say if you have neck pain.
Okay?
If you have neck pain and you wanna work on your neck, or someone have you, your close family doing it for you, then where's the neck? We talked about the image being this is your head,
Mm-hmm.
then this will be your neck.
Mhm.
So there's no one-on-one exact relationship. Each people will be a little different depending on how their blood is working, how much blood stagnation is there, how long they had pain for. So it's just areas we are covering. We just stimulate whole area.
So would this be the back of the neck or the front of the
It
neck?
can be either.
It can be either.
Yeah,
So
it can be either.
I'm not so worried about the side. Am I looking for any sensitive spots or sore spots?
That's normally much better if you can find.
It's almost as if it's
much
referred.
More, much more sensitive spot. If you can find that areas, they will most likely get rid of the pain.
So I look for the ouchy spot.
yeah,
Once
yeah.
I've said this is my neck, and I don't have soreness in my neck, but I might look for it.
Yeah.
Just like if I was looking for a soreness on my toe, you know, I might say, oh, right there's a little more tender, and that would help me.
If you can find that sore spot, extra sore spot, then it can be maybe, a lot faster and then stronger stimulation will be delivered and to get rid of the pain. Yeah.
That's right.
So this is your neck area. Then there is a map, acupuncture meridian. I call it map. Is discovered with the practice, needling and stimulating, and see which muscles affected. Even though it looks like simple areas, there's multiple muscles covering, you know, the neck areas.
Yeah, you have
trapezius
layers.
and
Right.
and another maybe levator scapula or other rhomboid muscle. It's just layered of the different muscles. So they've been stimulating certain areas and see which muscles getting better. And then they've been drawing lines, and then they made a relationship. That's really kind of somewhat complicated kind of concept to explain to just people beginning to learn acupuncture. It's a little bit further concept, but again we are using the map. So simple image to now detailed map. It's a little advanced, but we can generally we can know kind of where to work by just this kind of anatomical movements. So we talked about this area being more frontal, right? Kind of this kind of affecting your frontal head. Then this area will affect the back of the head. So this is frontal head. This is
Occiput?
occiput areas, yeah, right? And then in between there will be more side.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
So really effectively using this stimulator at home, or learn to use this and then go home and keep stimulating, what acupuncturists use. You really need to study acupuncture meridian, which is map of how body related to each other, but that's kind of a little complicated. So just simply I'm gonna show you a couple of things that you can do, kind of very generally happening things that you can work on. From this bony structure right here, and then there's muscle here. This is your trapezius. This is your upper trapezius. So if you have a pain along this big trapezius muscle,
A lot of times you can have tension here creating pain there, correct?
Then this would be that particular location you
And I
want to
could just
stimulate.
stimulate
So
that all the way down along it, huh?
again, around there you just grind it, and then depending on where, you just keep moving your stimulating finger to stimulate that areas. How many can you do? You can do a lot.
No limit, right?
Yeah. I normally visit about 3 times and have patient move
And see.
if it did affect. If it didn't, then we do it again. We're looking for maybe little different lines. And then if you have some sinus issue, now this was head, this whole thing was head, so you can actually cover maybe from this line all the way from here
To help with the sinuses.
frontal sinus.
And just do both sides or both hands.
Yes.
So would this one work better since it's right hand on left sinus? Or is it just generally the sinuses?
Technically speaking, yeah, it can work better for our right side, but it can be for both.
For both. Would no harm to do both sides, just
no harm to do both. Yeah. So that's more sinus covering, and now this one's more upper neck muscle, especially top of the muscle. Yeah. If you have a ankle pain, which like ankle sprain, then see what kind of which area you have a pain for. But normally when you have ankle sprain, 90% will be lateral side, so outer side.
outside.
Is more right below
Because
this.
people will trip out
yeah.
and stretch that muscle.
Yes, tuberculosis, bony structure. That's where they can injure or sprain their tendon or ligaments, right? So then, where is the good area you can do? The most effective area for that ankle is wrist. Ankle
Right.
for wrist or
Mhm.
wrist for ankle. So, and then this this other side right here, around here, is a
Would represent that outside
really
ankle.
good point for ankle pain.
Nice.
So if it is kind of bigger areas injured, then you just cover whole thing
Mm-hmm.
around here. If just very particular spot, one spot, you can just cover
Right.
just smaller spot space.
So if I sprain my ankle over the weekend, I might want to come into you on Monday. But in the meantime,
Mhm.
Saturday and Sunday, I could be
Yeah,
using this to
yeah,
help the
yeah.
body deal with
So-
the pain and stimulate the healing.
Again, go up to your elbow area and then just have it ground, and then just move your finger to stimulate. And just imagine this is your ankle.
Mm-hmm. I do believe that the power of how I mean,
Mhm.
we have influence on things through our mind. So as I set that map,
Mm-hmm.
that's what the body says, oh, I get the map.
Yeah, and if you have a spot that's kind of extra sore, maybe you focus more there.
Right.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's a nice way to
Yeah.
help someone even
Mhm.
locate. I know when I have used mine, I will palpate an area and then they'll go, oh, and they'll go, okay, right there.
Yeah.
It's like I'm on a hunt, treasure hunt for the sore spot.
So that's the again basic image and how to use an electrostimulator, but technically many acupuncturists are using multiple images, not only just two basic images. They are using so many other relationships. So for instance, can this whole arm, entire arm, just cover your head? Yes, it can.
Good. And then I can get into really fine
Yeah,
detail,
yeah,
right?
that's
Because I have a
right.
bigger map.
That's right. You have a eye pain, and just finding points from here may be not enough. Then we are changing whole structure, whole relationship. Now, this was only head. No, let's take this whole thing as head, and see if we can affect. It works. So that image, I talked about sinus can be covered this line here because it's more covering the frontal areas, but much better areas can be used along
Using that.
here.
Fascinating.
When we use this image to cover the head, now this elbow is around your nose.
It's like the halfway point then,
Right.
right?
So then, sinus is always around here or here.
Here, right.
So we
So
cover
they're going to be right in this.
this location, same way this location here. They
Fascinating.
work just like a split second. They work.
Wow.
Yeah. So headache can be totally subside immediately, or you can breathe much better right away.
So, needle's best. Piezoelectric device is a nice home tool. How about the use of just pressure?
Acupressure, because it has to be very well stimulated areas. Just gentle touch is not gonna do much.
So you're better off to have.
You have to have a strong, kind of focused pressure in certain points, then it can really make the differences.
So you're gonna have to be more precise with that, with a device than maybe
Yes.
even the piezoelectric device where I can cover.
Yes, and also you have to be kind of forceful and stimulate hard.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's why they make special devices that can really
yeah,
put some pressure on versus the broad thumb pad.
yes. So these points are well used point for self-treatment or acupressure, and this again covers maybe constipated large intestine or headaches. So then this can be really pressed hard.
At least give you a relief in the moment
Yeah,
when
for-
all you've got are your fingers
Yeah,
sitting
for
in a
either one.
meeting or out about the day.
And how strong this point? We cannot use this point during pregnancy because it moves
So much.
so much, and baby
Fascinating.
hates it. And
Baby.
this
It's all about the baby.
this induces labor
Wow.
because it initiates movements.
So much movement.
When you use this point for induced labor, now instead of this became head, this is now became intestinal areas. That's why around
Only I'd known that at the time.
so this is commonly used for induced labor.
So it can help a woman along when it's time.
Yes,
When it
so-
is time and you're going to
Yeah,
labor,
yeah.
it can help move things so that the labor
Yeah.
might move along
Yeah.
more quickly.
Or if you have a cold and it's about to get started, good point to prevent or help your immune system fight with the cold is right around your elbow, where the elbow crease
Mm-hmm.
is, just around
Right in here.
yeah corner here.
So again, that's representing this sinus area.
Sinus areas, and then
Oh, and it's a little sore because I'm just
yeah,
coming
yeah,
off of a
yeah,
cold.
Yeah. Sinus areas. It's good immune booster.
Oh. See, and I use my homeopathics to boost it, but this would have been another
Yeah.
beneficial
So
thing to do.
It's very sore, but when you do acupressure, it's not rubbing. It's not
Right.
rubbing and
It's not-
massage. It's just
It's holding a
press
point.
and hold. That's the key. How much pain or discomfort you can endure, up to you, but more better.
More is better.
Yeah.
Because it's getting the body to pay attention. Oh, I can actually feel that
Yeah.
shift things in my sinuses.
Yeah.
Because
So
I have just a little bit of hangover of that.
so this is a
Fascinating.
immune point, immune booster. And this can be used right when you're about to get sick. Once you're sick, that means already pathogens into
Right.
your body. It may not do much, but still, to prevent, this is good. For the sinus, either this one or right along your knees.
So here I can roll up my.
Uh, again, the knee became the nose, using entire leg
Okay.
to the head relationship. Then now nose areas right here. So from the little bit, if it's center here, just a little one
To
finger
get that
off,
sinus
the
just
one
right off.
finger off of the
Of the shin
midline
bone.
to
Mhm.
lateral side, and then you just massage all area here. But again,
Pressure.
press and hold.
Or use your
Yeah,
piezoelectric
and
device.
press and hold. And press and hold. They are going to affect your sinus headache or sinus infection.
Wonderful.
So again, it is all about where body is asking for help
Mhm.
and where we can get that help kind of more established. We're using other body parts.
That's wonderful.
So we are serving body's own healing,
Working
just
in-
using your own body.
And just working in cooperation.
Yeah.
I think that's what I appreciate about Mathew when I came to him. And he'll be relocating soon, so follow his website. Currently in Denver, but relocating soon. Probably by the time we're posted here, you'll be in the Dallas
yes.
area. So I will no longer be able to see you. Had to make sure we captured you before you left. What I appreciate about Matthew's model is that he is educating his patients. When you come, I asked him, I don't know, I think I was more full of questions than in need of treatment.
Yeah.
And he's a willing educator, and
Yeah,
you do a marvelous job of that.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Matthew, for the insights on how to work with our body's healing resources.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Thanks for joining us.